Hey guys, Game Hunter here, and we're back with another game from the 2013 annual roguelike release party. This one is called Into the Labyrinth, if you haven't read the title, and it's by a dude named Badscribbler, I guess. There might be other names, but whatever. In any case, this is a game that I have actually done a take on, and apparently I forgot to check to make sure that audios were being recorded as they were supposed to be, but whatever. Maybe I can actually make this a little quicker and not be flustered with a control that I had not figured out. So we pick, this is a party-based roguelike, and so we have to pick our classes. I think I'll just pick the same ones that I picked last time. I'm not gonna, well, whatever. We call him Garlock. The cleric, we call him Run to Soar. The rogue, let's call him Osidious. Osidious is fine. And then a magic man, call him Prinkle. Sure. Best names ever. So here we are, and we're actually in a starting town, I guess, if you want to call it that. I think this is the only place that exists in the game at the moment. But you know, your party is represented just by the single ASCII dude, and you move around and you talk to people potentially, and there's people to buy stuff from, maybe, if they have items for sale. But I guess more importantly, you need to get them components in order for them to actually make such things in the first place. And we got somebody to heal us, and we got somebody to bring us potions to the apothecarist. The guildmaster will let us make new friends if we have enough gold. But other than that, I guess it's you got members and you just kind of swap them out as you need to. And then so we got this guy who is telling us that we can go down and try some things and train and whatnot. If you want to take a look at the controls, we got equipment, inventory, dropping items, ranged attacks for party targeting of abilities and items, and trading items between inventories. And then in battle, so there is kind of a modal system here, and we'll be looking at that in just a moment. But if you notice, we have like using their abilities outside of battle, basically, and just everybody kind of waits. But before that, we can read up on all of these to tell us how to initiate, and everybody starts an attack round. And that's why it's kind of semi-modal, is because instead of initiating and then you stay in that mode until the end of combat, you actually only sit in it for an action, and then you can choose to move around again as you need to. So it's kind of a hybrid between, say, a roguelike and an RPG in the sort of classic JRPG style, wherein you find battle and then you go into it and then you finish the battle. But here, you find the battle, you stay where you are, but each turn you specifically choose what you want to do in kind of a parser, if you will. So that is, well, I hope that didn't register too much. But I guess, reactions? The ability to allow characters to avoid damage and things like that. And, yeah, I guess one of the glitches, this being an extremely early alpha build, I should mention, is the fact that things kind of lag. But so the warrior takes an entire turn before he can attack properly. The cleric obviously has got the ability to heal, and also the ability to produce smiting, I guess. Or you could just use a normal attack. The rogue, of course, the ability to attack, and it's basically 2 attacks. And then you got the magic man, who does magic stuff like casting fireball for over half of his mana, or her. I guess the name entirely depends on gender here, because there's no gender specifically involved. And then there's magical insight for hitting better, because that's what's needed. So the rogue hits, and the rogue kills the target, and it's already dead. So that was the entire combat. But here we go ahead and actually we will go through an entire round here, and most of them won't even hurt because, you know, none of them deal significant damage. The warrior will do enough damage, though, as long as we make him do so, because he's got a heavy slash, and that's the kind of damage that's absolutely necessary. And then we just kind of keep things going, I guess, and eventually this thing will be brought down. And yes, I mean it's kind of I'm curious to know what you guys think about this method of I guess we'll just have you guard. I should also have the rogue guard because he doesn't do any damage. So I guess that was including the smite attack that I got. And in the meantime, actually, we will just have everybody kind of wait until the one guy readies his weapon. But we won't actually attack with him because we just want to get the target out of the way so that we can get these golems to move. And there we go. It's a golem gang. This one's only got one, and I think I will just kind of kill him normal. Or defeat. They're golems. They're probably not even made of living whatever. But here we have two enemies. And if you notice, we have to kind of choose which one we fight. So you don't necessarily know how many enemies are in a tile, at least from my knowledge. I don't really know for sure. There's also the fact that you have enemies that are stronger than normal enemies that are kind of boss types. So we ready our weapon, everybody else guards, just to make sure that what's-his-face readies. There we go. And then we just try to finish off the stupid little crate. Excuse me, it's a crate. That's totally what it is. And now we get to fight this nasty scarecrow. And the biggest problem I have right now is that there's no way to back out to my knowledge of an action that you've decided to do. And this time we're going to use the fireball, because last time we used the fireball on the rock, and that was a really stupid idea. And if you notice, the scarecrow is able to parry and dodge attacks, which is crazy. But yeah, look at that. And the scarecrow is actually able to do 2 attacks. That's rough. We need to heal up that guy's wounds, and well, we'll put that on for the next turn. Unfortunately, you also don't really know the order in which your characters will attack, because I kind of go down from left to right to see what happens. But oh, whoops. Oh man. Yeah, I guess probably shouldn't have wasted my efforts like that on getting accuracies and stuff like that. Not to mention the rogue needs to be healed. I didn't really keep that in mind. Phew. Oh man. Okay, well he bit the big one. That's unfortunate. But whatever. We gotta just hope that we survive this. Last time I think the cleric died, and yeah, there we go. The magic man annihilated at that point. So whatever. That's pretty much the game in a nutshell right now. There's also assault actions. Basically, you can aim or choose to be reckless with a particular action. That's all I got from that. It's also the ability to do ranged attacks, although there's nobody to actually attack in range. Maybe if I get to one of these guys, it'll at least show up. Nope, no. Well, that's for characters that can use ranged attacks. So, for instance, Fireball can be used at that time and whatnot. You can also use buffs out of combat by just using S. You can choose to do particular things. Like I could use the Smite Prayer and the Mage Insight. So I could buff him, and we'd have that for a few turns until it finally fades away. So yeah, that's the game. I kind of like the idea, although I'm kind of worried that it might bog down too much. You know, the reason I don't play JRPGs anymore is because they can be other than the grinding, is that combat itself can take a while, kind of, even when it's just trivial. And that's one thing you have to worry about here. the more challenging combat is going to be, the more time you're willing to take on it. So for trivial cases, you're going to want to make sure that it can go by relatively quickly. So maybe just having like an auto battle command or something for trash mobs. I don't know, to use a really weird term in a roguelike. But whatever. I think it's cool, and I hope to see a lot more of it. Since it's an early alpha build, I hope to see a lot of updates for it. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, I guess. Probably. Don't know where else you tell me. Regarding the case of kind of a semi-modal system to work through combat in a party-based system like this. I think it can work. I guess like I said, I'm worried about the potential for it being slower than normal roguelikes. But we'll see how it goes. This has been Game Hunter playing Into the Labyrinth. Join me next time we take a look at another game from the 2013 annual roguelike release party. Until then, keep playing those roguelikes, guys, and take care.